WWE title. It's always a storied title, but sometimes that goes pretty bad. I mean, things that happen seem the most unpredictable, and so WWE has had their championship belt swap waists whenever they saw fit. Let's look at some of the most wild and unexpected title changes in the incredible history of WWE. Number 10, Big Show defeats WWE Champion Brock Lesnar, Survivor Series 2002. Early in Lesnar's WWE tenure, crowds had taken to chanting Goldberg at the Muscular Brute, and the similarities were numerous. Lesnar even had an unbeaten streak, not unlike the former WCW champion, and it seemed as though it would take somebody monumental to bring Lesnar to his knees. That's why it was so astonishing when a fairly heatless Big Show was the one to fell Lesnar after Heyman had turned on his client. The match itself felt unbefitting of how Lesnar should have been slain, especially since Show had absolutely zero momentum at that stage of his career. While other streak breakers have been controversial in the eyes of many, Lesnar vs. Undertaker for sure, this one had nowhere near the resonance. It just felt like business as usual. Number 9, Shawn Michaels defeats WWE Champion Bret Hart, Survivor Series 1997. Well, you knew this had to make the cut when Jim Ross groaned, "Wow, you talk about controversy." In the post-match confusion, he understood full well what he had just witnessed. The WCW-bound Hitman losing his WWE Championship without truly losing it. Tellings, retellings, and the spawned conspiracy theories have burned out most fans on the original story, but it is still quite a visual shock per a carefully laid plan. Michaels snares Hart in Hart's own sharpshooter, and referee Earl Hebner calls for the bell, without Hart actually submitting. The caustic reaction, not just from fans, but Hart and Michaels' peers in the locker room, created a riotous mood. Fans in Montreal roared when Hart smashed WWE's TV monitors after the show faded to black, and would later hear of how Hart punched McMahon out backstage in the most talked about unfilmed confrontation in wrestling history. You know a moment is monumental when fans are still discussing it with frequency 20 years later. Number 8, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, and Randy Orton defeat Daniel Bryan WWE Championship 2013. John Cena vs. Daniel Bryan was an excellent match, and one in which the fan base at large was completely and totally behind Daniel Bryan, and no one was really sure if WWE would actually let a guy like Bryan beat a guy like Cena. To our amazement, after a great match, Bryan pinned Cena clean as a whistle with the knee plus to win his very first WWE Championship, and it was a brilliant moment. The biggest indie darling ever had finally reached the pinnacle of WWE, and it seemed clear that times were changing in the WWE landscape. It wasn't to last though. As the confetti fell, the music of Mr. Money in the Bank, Randy Orton, hit, and the two men stared each other down. Orton then looked to back away until special guest referee Triple H hit Bryan with the pedigree, allowing Orton to become WWE Champion. This set off the Daniel Bryan vs. the Authority storyline. That would be the ace story for most of the way from that show until WrestleMania 30 the next year. If it wasn't for these title changes here and a little bit of pushing from the fans, it's entirely possible that the wonderful moment of WrestleMania 30 ending with Daniel Bryan holding both the WWE and World Heavyweight Championships aloft might never have happened. Number 7, Brock Lesnar and The Rock, WWE Undisputed Championship 2002. Say what you like about his push nowadays, but no one before or since has seen a meteoric rise like that of Brock Lesnar in 2002. The moment he showed up on WWE TV, it was clear that Lesnar was earmarked to be the next major star for the company, quite literally being labeled as the next big thing as an on-screen nickname. Debuting in March 2002, it took a mere 5 months for Lesnar to be defeating The Rock for the WWE Championship. Lesnar made very short work of opponents like the Hardys and RVD, and when he had won King of the Ring, a title victory seemed inevitable. Although Lesnar would sour WWE's investment in him a couple of years later when he left the company, Lesnar left a lasting impression on the WWE, and by the time he returned to the company in 2012, his star power had grown tenfold, as seen by the fact that since 2014, he's almost always been holding championship gold. Lesnar probably would have reached this level of star power anyway, but WWE certainly did him all the favors in the world by building so quickly to this moment. Number 6, Punk beats Cena and leaves WWE. In hindsight, it made total sense for WWE to put the title on CM Punk. He was a molten hot, groundbreaking force in wrestling at the time, and having John Cena defeat him in Chicago would have been an incredibly deflating booking decision. At the time, however, there was a real sense of they surely won't, will they? About the match and quite how WWE would develop the storyline once Punk had walked out. However, kayfabe, his refusal to sign a new contract seemed a mystery. Number 5, the British Bulldog defeated Bret Hart Intercontinental Championship 1992. Alright, this one is a little unmemorable to young fans, but hey, we gotta go to the history as well. I mean, come on. What else could it be? We've all seen the clip 100 times by now because it really was that huge a moment. Wembley Stadium, London, England in 1992. The first time a Big 4 WWE PPV has been held in the UK. So what other match could you possibly have outside of British Bulldog and Bret Hart, two of the best wrestlers of the time going at it for the Intercontinental Championship? All you have to do is listen to the reaction of the crowd when Bulldog pinned Hart to see just how magical a moment it was for everyone in attendance at the time. It would ultimately be a short title reign for the Bulldog, but it didn't matter in the end because in a single moment, he had secured his legacy forever. Number 4, AJ Styles' stunning victory at Madison Square Garden. After WM33, Styles aligned himself as a face, and he started a campaign against the then United States champion Kevin Owens. However, perhaps the biggest and most riveting episode of their rivalry took place on July 7th, 2017, during the televised house show at the iconic New York's Madison Square Garden. Live television, Styles defeated Kevin Owens to capture the United States Championship for the initial time in the WWE Raw era. This was received with loud and joyous applause from the people in the stadium, with the fans feeling so happy that they had watched such an epoch-making event. There are usually not such moments in house performances, but it happened on the specified day. MSG woke up as Styles entered the history. Although his reign was very short as he reigned the belt for only 16 days, the rivalry between him and Owens soared to even greater heights, and he proved himself worthy competitor of WWE. Number 3, Primo and Epico's underappreciated tag team title win. While many team formations were ad hoc as opposed to planned, few could successfully engage the audience for any significant period of time. But Primo and Epico brought a sparkle during this period, headed by the self-progressed and energetic Rosa Mendes. During that 106 days long rule, Primo and Epico had their fair share of problems. Even though they didn't get the same success of some of the other tag teams of the time, this win showed that even during a slow period for tag team wrestling, there could be exciting and random moments at house shows for fans to watch. Number 2, Miz and John Cena, Tag Team Champions. During the WrestleMania season of 2011, many WWE Universe fans were raised off their seat when the WWE Champion, The Miz, made a masterstroke, changing the trend of what was expected to be one of the most interesting matches. When John Cena was dominating the Royal Rumble, Miz only watched, and The Miz proved that he's one of the smartest men in the ring. And one of the biggest surprises, he came out and attacked Cena to take him out of the Rumble match. But what took the cake and made this moment even more chaotic? It wasn't planned that way. Alex Riley, that Miz used just a few weeks prior to further cement Miz as a protege, appeared only to get himself pinned and eliminating, much to the bemusement of The Miz. The fans popped as Miz decided to get involved, attempting to reiterative toss of Cena over the top rope. This shocking elimination put another layer of pre-WrestleMania storytelling in the blender through Cena would later get his WWE title shot, thus paving way for a classic match. On the other hand, WrestleMania 27 also had the muscular Rocky coming back to WWE as the host, though his rivalry with Cena was the most prominent. The Miz, while basically in a confrontation for the title of WWE Champion, became a puppet in a true rivalry between Cena and The Rock. The feud between John Cena and The Rock was strong, but that did not diminish the position of The Miz. He also found his place in the storyline, miming The Rock. Although, as the third wheel in this legendary rivalry, it was animosity between Cena and The Rock, which would lead to not just one, but 2 WrestleMania main events. Despite being the small man outplayed by the big feud of the legends, Miz's trickery brought him into the company's wrestling top pick, and then Cena also praised him that he was the most underrated WWE superstar. Perhaps, yeah, after he defeated the old dog. Number 1, Brock Lesnar vs. John Cena, WWE World Heavyweight Championship 2014. This is the biggest unexpected title change. Brock Lesnar's WWE return had been pretty lackluster before 2014 rolled around. He lost to John Cena, lost to Triple H, and beat CM Punk in matches that were all very good, but were completely inconsequential. Then 2014 happened. Brock Lesnar would be responsible for the most shocking moment in WWE history at WrestleMania 30, when he ended the undefeated streak of The Undertaker. This turned Lesnar into the most unstoppable force in all of WWE, and he was going to eviscerate the next person he came up against. Conversely, the WWE title scene in the summer of 2014 was a little bit of a mess. Daniel Bryan was forced to vacate the title after facing a neck injury, so the title was quickly placed back around Cena's waist until they could work out what to do. When it was announced Lesnar was going to be fighting Cena, there was a lot of trepidation about how things were going to go down. Many thought Cena would do what Cena does and win even when he really shouldn't, and others thought Lesnar's win over The Undertaker guaranteed a win here. But I think it's safe to say no one was expecting what actually happened. In completely shocking fashion, Lesnar absolutely destroyed Cena. In this 15-minute match, Cena only got in about a single minute of offense, and the rest was Lesnar throwing Cena all around the ring. By the time Lesnar pinned Cena to win the title, it was clear we're going to see a title reign like never before, which is exactly what we got. Over and over again for the next 5 years with various titles Lesnar would hold. So yes, this title reign may have led us to years of Lesnar being an absentee champion for months at a time, but you can't say that this moment in 2014 wasn't a huge deal.